record on this computer. So it's lovely to see you, Priya. Thank you so much for coming on. And I know that you're having an amazing journey at the minute, but rather than me explain who you are and where you come from, can you just tell people, yeah, who are you and where'd you come from?
Who am I and where I come from? I've asked myself that question a long time ago, right? So who am I? So my name is Priya. I suppose for your people, they don't really know me. I am also a Procter Gallagher consultant. Sheena is like a soul sister of mine. Um, and we both have a desire to transform people's lives. So who am I? I am right now, let me tell you a little bit. I'm going to back up where I am. I'm in Atlanta right now. I'm on a tour right now called Business for Social Change. And that is a tour that was put together by Kirsten Dunn and Les Brown. Les Brown is a pretty important figure. I don't know if a lot of people of you know him, but he's a motivational speaker and he is really transforming the world with his energy. And so I have been asked to speak also and to share a little bit what I do, what my work is in the world, and why I'm so passionate about doing what I'm doing. So I would say
incredible, isn't it, that you're, like sharing the stage with Les Brown? I mean, that is just
yes,
totally,
it's
totally
amazing.
awesome.
And
Yeah.
that again, that's a dream come true, right? And the dream come true came true because I did the work. Meaning I was really willing to change my mindset. I was willing to really go for my dreams. And that's more important than who I am, because the message is like, yes, I'm a very, I say I'm a very ordinary woman and I have a really big dream, and my desire was to really, really bring this out in the world. And so I found all the supporting evidence with Bob Proctor and all the material that can help me, or that has helped me to go from 1 year ago, where I was still at that time, 1 year ago, I was still in a corporate environment. And I decided this is not what I want. I have this big dream. I want to share with people the passion that you can change your life. You can achieve anything you want. You can have your dreams. And because I'm somebody who's very passionate, and I've seen so many people that have these great ideas, Sheena, these great, amazing ideas and dreams, and they don't go for it. And they just say like, oh, I'll do it when I have more time. I do it when the kids are out of the house. I do it when the money is there. I do it when. And then it never happens. And one of the things that I realized was I was working out one day in the gym, and it was interesting because the gym was opposite the cemetery. And I was working out and I was on the treadmill and I was running, and I was like, oh, why am I doing this to myself? And there was this moment of awareness where I was looking at that cemetery, and I suddenly had this awareness, like, how many of those people that are lying there have actually realized their dream? Said, how many of those people that have been on this planet for 60, 70, 80 years have actually gone and really said, you know what? I go for my dream. I'm unique. I have this vision. I want to do something. I want to leave a legacy in the world. And that was about 2 years ago. And that's when really I asked myself, how can I do this? How can I do this? And because when we ask, we receive, the universe was like, okay, how about I give you something to work with? And so I started, when I came across Thinking into Results, and I started the program with Bob Proctor, it was incredible. It was like a revelation, a real revelation, the possibility of being and doing what I really love. And I think when you ask me, who am I am a woman who follows her passion, and who's so passionately desiring that everybody, I want to wake people up. I'm somebody who wants to wake people up to their essence and say, you can go for your dreams. Do it in this lifetime. Don't wait another minute,
I love that. I absolutely love that. There was something you said before we come on, and before we even go into your story as to how you got here, was the fact that about, a full, what was your story? You said about, like the only difference between a full and it's about the organization of knowledge. What was that?
So I was talking about the organization, and I'm sure everybody can relate to that. We have so much information in our minds, right? We read the books, we take the courses, we have all this information in the mind, right? The knowledge and information that we accumulate our whole life, the experiences. But most people don't know how to express it and structure it. And I said the only difference between a fool and genius is they both have the same information. The only difference is that the genius knows how to structure and express this information, whereas the fool spins around in his head and he goes crazy with it. And so this is what I learned with this material. I really learned that when I started structuring the information, when I started using my higher faculties, when I started to focus, when I started to really go into the possibility that was out there and the information that I had in here, and I structured it and I put it together in a way where I could use it, my whole life changed.
Wow. I
And
just
that was
absolutely love that. I mean, it was just like, whenever you said that, I was just like, I've been saying that, but in such a longer term, and you just like did it so quickly. And it's just like, yeah, that's where people have like the knowing doing gap, isn't it? So you know it, but then nothing's happening. And you just talked about the knowing doing gap in a different way. I just think, wow, that's absolutely incredible. But what I also loved was when I heard about your story about how you got to where you are now. And it's just like, when we don't know people, and we talk and we work together, and then you suddenly say something and I go, excuse me, what did you say that you've been? So I'd love people just to hear a bit about your story and the journey that you've been on.
okay. Yeah, so I have a pretty interesting story. And I was sharing that on stage yesterday, actually on Monday. And I said, there's people that have that linear life. They're like, oh, I was born here and then I went there and I went to work and I got married and everything. And just like it flows. And my life has been like this journey of ups and downs and incredible experiences. So I was born in Germany, and I had some intense experiences. I had a near death experience at 4. I had a car accident at 7 that was very intense, and I should have left this body dead, but it didn't. And then I grew up as a child, and my parents always said like, oh, you were so fragile, you were always sick, and they always saw me as the sick person. So I believed, of course, I was very fragile and very sick, until I was about 15, when puberty hits. And I was just saying, like, this is not going to happen. This is not my life. I don't want this. I really don't want this. So I became a punk. I totally rebelled. And then as soon as I finished high school, I just like left Germany and I went to France. And as the universe has it, with its amazing sense of humor, I met my first husband, who was a French count. So my life totally changed around 180 degrees. And I entered the French aristocracy. I was trained to be a countess. I was trained in everything that you need to know, right? To just be in an environment that I didn't know, with all the etiquette and all of that. And I did that for 10 years. And I realized after a while, I was like, this is not my life. This is like wearing a mask, not that mask that we wear now, but like this big mask of having to be, do, and just say things that I didn't want to. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. So at one point I realized it was time to leave. And so I stayed in Paris, and then I worked in an environment, and then I had a life transforming experience when I wanted to have children so much. And then I finally got pregnant. And when I was nearly 7.5 months pregnant, my son was born prematurely, but he left the same day. So that left me with this tremendous shock. And during this whole process, this birthing process, I had what I call a spiritual experience, which I had no idea what it was actually. And I was everything. I saw everything. I was in this total bliss state. I wasn't here. The body was here, but I wasn't here. My consciousness was out there. And when I came back, I thought I had gone crazy. And I really thought like I needed to go in an institution or something. I couldn't talk to anybody about this. And I thought I had no idea what happened. So that was the beginning of my process of looking for something else. And it was really a quest of the question you asked in the beginning, who are you? It was really the quest of who am I, but a different quest, not like who am I, what do I want to do in this life? It was really, who am I? Why am I having these experiences? Why has my life been so incredibly intense? Why has that happened to me? And so the only way I really found out was, for me, was a spiritual quest. So I went to India, I followed a guru, I did work in ashrams, spiritual centers, I fed the poor, and I just went into this whole, I wanted to give, I wanted to find out, I wanted to really experience something else. I became a nun, and then I stayed a nun for 3 years, left with the guru and the whole, the people to America, and then we built an ashram there. And then I left after 3.5 years. Because I met my second husband, and I knew that there was something else, that I wasn't meant to be a nun for the rest of my life. And so then for me, the miracle happened, and my daughter was born. She came, and that was really like, it was amazing. And that's when I started to shift my whole perception about what it is to be in service to somebody else. I mean, really what I had learned in India was like, I was in service to my guru and other people, but this was like, wow, now I have a child. And after a while, my husband and I realized that our relationship was like, it was more like a relationship that was brother and sister, rather than, a real love relationship. And so we decided to split up, and I got into a relationship with somebody who was, for me, really the apotheosis at the time of what I wanted. And that person, after 2 years, left one morning and decided to commit suicide. So here I was a 5-year-old child, completely unstructured. We talked about like structuring the mind. I had the feeling like, what are all these experiences for? Why am I here? What do I have to experience with all of this? And at the time, I really spiraled down into depression. And I came to the point where at one point I decided like, maybe my daughter would be better off without me. And I always say that it was like this night of revelation where I literally got this vision and this message, like to completely surrender, really surrender. And I didn't know what the word surrender meant, but it was literally like, give it up. And that's what I did. I gave it all up to God, and I said, you know what, Spirit, you take it all, and then you guide me. And that was, I think, for me, the opening when I said that, where everything started to shift. I started to get into Abraham Hicks and the law of attraction. I started to study. I did every course, every class, Tony Robbins, Marianne Williamson. I mean, you name them. My self-help section in my house is like, I don't know how long. It's like every book you can imagine, and I started reading, and I wanted to know. And I said, my life must be something else. I must be here for something else, right? All of these experiences, they can't just be like, there must be something else. And then when I came across this material, when I really came across this material, I said, okay, this really feels like it combines everything. And what it did, and I realized that I've been always out here in this quest for spirituality. And what it did was like, it brought everything together in a way where I suddenly could see that I had never had a structure of all of these. So these experiences were out there, and I thought I was going to go crazy. And suddenly I realized, no, if I put them together, and if I can show people that when you go through all kinds of experiences, you can emerge on the other side with the power to inspire people, with the power to really see that every experience is such a tremendous value. It has such a value. So for me, that material was as if somebody had given me the recipe for success. You could imagine you have all the ingredients to assemble a phone, but you don't have the instructions. That's what I felt in my life. It was like getting the material suddenly that is, oh, here's the manual, and here is your step-by-step program where you can actually understand, structure it, put it together, and then build on that whatever you want. And that for me was the most valuable thing that I have ever experienced. From all the courses and classes and books that I read, when I came across that, I said, this is what I want to do. This is what I want to teach other people, because I know there is so many people, I don't want to say hundreds, thousands, millions of people that are like me, having all these experiences, having this desire to turn it around and to help others with it, but we don't know how to.
My goodness, that is just like incredible, isn't it? I mean, it's so great to hear from somebody like yourself, to have all those experiences. So you've had such a life experience, it's unbelievable. But then you've been trying to search for yourself in all these books as well and put it all together. And then just to hear it going, oh my goodness, there's, because that's what I was always saying. It's just like, it's like Bob has taken everything I've ever learned and I do it like this. It's like, took everything I ever learned and just put it in one place. I mean, there you go, keep doing it. And some people say, like, you know, well, I've done this program, and they're just going, you never finish. You just never do it. You didn't get the idea. It's just like, I'm listening to it again for the 8th time. My son is actually starting the program and we're studying it together again. And like, he's just going, why are you listening to this now? And I went, I didn't hear Bob say that 20th time round or 100th time round or 1,000 times round. I said, I get something every time I listen to this material. It is just wonderful. And yes, it is. It's wonderful that he's now on this journey as well, because I know what programming he's got because I gave it to him.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to help him out of it and just going, yeah, I know that one. Here we go. You know, so isn't it amazing that this is a gift now that you can give your, you know, your daughter? Isn't it just like absolutely tremendous?
Yes, it is. And you know, Sheena, I love that you say you gave that to your son, because I always think like, yes, I know the programming my daughter received from me. And I'm like, oh my God. I was always thinking like, I hope she doesn't get this from me. I hope she doesn't. And now I think like, well, how about I give her the tools? So when whatever she got, she can choose what she wants to
Yeah.
keep and build on. And the other part is like, she can do whatever she wants in her life, you know. But it, for me, this is the most powerful tool to empower actually ourselves. So it's not some of those courses and classes that I've had before, which is like, well, you have to be with the same teacher for forever. You have to, I don't even know how to say that. It's a codependency on a lot of programs that I saw, where it was like, well, I only give you this much, but then you have to come back and you get the next piece and the next piece and the next piece. And this is like, you get a roadmap to success. You get a roadmap to your own infinite mind. And that roadmap is invaluable, because once you know how to work with the mind and how the mind works, you can apply that for everything, for your relationships, for your well-being, for your health, for everything. There's nothing, I mean, it literally is a roadmap for life, you know? So for me, I was like, well, you just need one program and that's it. Because once you have this, everything else can fall into place. There's nothing else you need. Literally, there's nothing else you need. So I love that you give that to your son, because you're giving him the most valuable tool he could ever get.
To not need me or to need anybody else. That was the thing, isn't it? Is that, you know, that's what you're saying about, you know, where you do get bits and pieces, and then you need more and you need more. But this is really is just like, I don't want you to need me. Once you do this work, once you literally do the work, you will be asking questions and answering them before you even get to me. And that's what I want for you. I want you to be completely, we're here interdependent with everybody, but the fact that you can, what is right for you, only you know. And I want you to be able to ask that question, so only you know the answer, don't you?
Right. And see, Sheena, so I'm here in Atlanta, and I don't know if you know that, but in Atlanta, there were all the riots. You must have seen that a couple of, you know, when everything started happening in May and June of this year here in America was Floyd, and people were starting to really see the racial segregation again. You know, it's the same thing that has been happening over and over again. And people started to wake up in ways where they said, I want to be empowered. I want to take my power back. You know, and it has nothing to do with the color of our skin. It does for a lot of people here, unfortunately. And I realize that because Les Brown, Kirsten Dunn, all these amazing speakers, they are mostly African American origin. So they have experienced firsthand what it means to have racial segregation, to be judged, to have to prove 5 times more what you need to prove when you don't have a skin color like that is the one, when you're not white, for example. I'm saying it really bluntly. So it was amazing for me to sit with them and to really talk about this. But what I realized is that all these riots and everything that has ever happened, every rebellion, every revolution in the world, has happened for one reason and one reason only. And that is, people want to take their power back. They're tired of feeling somebody else has power over me. And this is, for me, the greatest gift is when you have a program like Thinking into Results, you receive the ingredients to take your power back, because it is a program of empowerment, because it's not about destroying everything outside. It's about creating from the inside, creating yourself so strongly from the inside, and knowing you are the power. There is nothing that we need from the outside. You are energy, and energy is power, and power is what you need to live. And when you know how to direct this power and how to become this power, how to attune with the infinite mind and channel that power, you really become the infinite creator in your life experience. And so for me, it's the ultimate program of empowerment, because everybody should have that. Kids should have that. There's nothing, for me, this should go out in every school, every kindergarten, every university, so that people realize this is truly the power that I need. This is the power that I want. So
Absolutely love
yeah,
that.
and Kirsten is calling me right now, so I'm going to call her back. I'm just going to text her and say I'm on the phone. Um,
Listen, I think that was just an amazing way to end that anyway. So, wow, I don't think anybody could say anything, everybody be rushing from, I think you're right. That's one of the things that I say about this work should be in schools and about teaching that. And I know that the more I say it, the more that's actually what's going to happen, because anybody who's touched this material wants children to be learning, and we can start from there and literally change the world that way and fix the rest of us. We don't need fix. We just need to realize how awesome we are, don't we?
Well, and I love that you said that, because I remember when I met Bob Proctor the first time in person last year in November. I went to Canada, and I call it a private audience, right? That's a very, a very fun way to say it. But I got this time with Bob, and it was just 5 or 10 minutes. And I said, Bob, I have all these ideas, and I see it, and I want this world, and I see how this material can transform the world, and we're going to have peace. And I said, this can empower people, and empowered people are happy, and happy people are successful, and successful people make money, and they make money, and they make peace. And he took my hand and he said, I love your vision, and be the world that you want to see. And I think that is, for me, it really, one of the most important things that I feel everybody in this world can realize is, be the world you want to see. If we want to have a peaceful world, it has to start within. And what do we have to do? We have to work on ourselves. If we want to see a world where people are successful and happy and abundant, we are the embodiment of happiness and abundance. So what do we have to do? Always to go within and say, how can I embody this so that other people are inspired? How can I embody this so that I can show the example? How can I embody this so I can leave a legacy on this planet? The legacy of empowering everybody to be themselves, entirely, authentically, and unapologetically themselves. Wild and bold and crazy and everything, but just be yourself. So if you want to be yourself, that's the program. That's that's all there is to do. That's it. For me, that is it, really. And that's why I'm so passionate about it. I'm sure you can feel that. I get really
100%. 100%. Listen, oh my goodness, I so appreciate your time. That was just absolutely fabulous, absolutely fabulous. And yeah, I'm just so excited for us all on this journey together, and growing along these lines. And I can't wait till we actually can be together again in Canada, live. Imagine that. Imagine all being together again in person.
Absolutely, Sheena. And I want to thank you because you asked me to speak. But what I really do is I'm in service to everybody else who is listening to this. And you're such a beautiful messenger of this material. You embody it. And that's what it is. Once you embody it, you become the program of the program. Look at what happens to you. Your life has turned around 180 degrees.
Mm.
You are the example, you know. So I want to thank you for inviting me.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you so much. I so appreciate it. It's just wonderful. You can feel the love, everybody. Anybody watching this, you can feel the love. Feel the love.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I'm
Love is
going to say,
love is the MO of the universe. I always say, like, love is my superpower, you know. As long as I stay in love, everything flows, and that's what we share, the love, you know.
yeah, and
And
that's
I
actually
feel
one of
your
the
love.
things that, yeah, that I have noticed from every single client is that actually it is lack of love, and that's what I realized with myself. When I got started in this material, that I was very ego led, and I didn't realize. I thought I was empathy. I thought I was everything, but my goodness, I did not love myself. But yet nobody
Mhm.
might have seen that, but it was apparent in my results. They caught up with me. And so you're not
And
loving
self-love
yourself.
is the most important thing, you
Mm,
know. And people have to understand who they are when we say self. Who are we?
mm.
Well, once we know we are God's highest form of creation, is how can we not love that? The experiences or what we do, yeah, some of it we love, some of it we don't, and some of it we're really not. I'm not proud of everything that I've ever done in my life, and I make mistakes, but my actions don't define necessarily, they don't define who I am in essence, you know. They define where I'm at in my level of consciousness, and we all rise in consciousness. But the forgiveness that we can have at that moment when we realize who we are, it's like, we're stumbling through this life. We didn't come here with a manual. We didn't come here saying, oh, Sheena, here's your instruction manual for your life. Go and do it. You know, we're figuring it out. And for me, that's what TIR is. It's an
Mm.
instruction manual to your life. And the beautiful thing is, it adapts exactly to you,
Oh
right?
my God, that's what's exactly true, isn't it? You can't just like talk about this without, you need the person's life and what they want and talking about all their experiences and then what they want. And then you just go, tell you what, whatever question
Absolutely.
you've got, we've got the answer.
Exactly. You're actually going to find the answer. And that's the beautiful thing. It's like nobody's going to give you the answer, it will
Yeah,
come to you.
awesome.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm going to end it there, but absolutely fantastic. I absolutely 100% appreciate your time. And we'll have a little chat after. I'm just going to say goodbye to everybody for now.
Thank
See
you.
you.
Thanks, everybody. Blessings on your
Bye.
journey.